Ciao tutti, everyone. Welcome to the summer 2019 Rome pre-departure orientation session. And this is going to be a one-part to a two-part session depending on what class you are in. So if you are in the ELPS 465 course with Dr. Michelle Leah and Dr. Marquita Newell, you will be notified by them that they would like you to participate in a Panopto session, and they will get in contact with you for that. If you are a part of the International Higher Education Program, the ELPS 529 with Dr. Tavis Jules, he will also be contacting you in the next coming week or so to participate in a Zoom meeting where he can give you an update on what your course material will look like and how your 2 weeks will pan out course-wise. So, but for tonight, what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you some information from this information packet right here. I'm going to include it in on the email that I send you with the link to this session, and we're just going to walk through this. A lot of this stuff might seem intuitive, like it's no big deal, but actually when you start getting into it, there are a lot of small details that are really important for me to express to you with regards to being in Rome. There's quite a bit to an abroad experience, and there are a lot of little small nuances to it, and we just want to make sure that when you plan for this, when you arrive in Rome, when you're in Rome, that you're safe and ready and just prepared for whatever might come along. Of course, you can't prepare for everything, but at least we like to get you as prepared as we possibly can. So what we're going to do is just start going through this information packet. And I'm going to give you a little overview of what the JFRC is like. And it's basically like any other campus. It's really quite nice. It's in a residential area on the highest point of Rome. And it's completely secure and gated and operates just like any other college campus. The address to the Rome Center is on your packet. Let's see if I can put it right about here. And one thing that we're going to ask you to do is before you come to the Rome Center to copy down that address, put it on a couple of note cards and keep it with you. You're going to probably be using these note cards throughout your time at the center because I'm not sure how many of you speak Italian, but the address is in Italian. And it might be hard for you to express the address to your cab drivers and such. So when you first come to Rome, you're probably going to arrive in taxi, and you're going to have to tell the taxi driver the address. Well, all that you need to do is actually pull the card that you have the address written on out of your bag and show them the card, and they'll know exactly where to go. And actually the taxis in Rome, the taxi drivers, they're actually pretty used to Loyola students coming. So even if you say Loyola, sometimes they'll know exactly where to take you. But definitely have that information written on a card so that you can then give it to the taxi driver upon arrival. And just below that information, I've listed information to the porter's desk at the John Felice Rome Center. There's a porter's desk. It's open 24 hours. And if for some reason family or friends of yours might need to contact you at the center and they're not able to reach your cell, or they're just trying to somehow get in contact with the center itself, this is the number that they would use. And on the next page, I've put down my cell phone number as well as information on how to dial that from outside of the country. So that info is there for you. As well, I've also listed information on using cell phones in Rome. You're going to want to, you probably already know this, but you're going to want to secure for yourself international service on your phone. And there is a new package going around where you can spend $10 a day for unlimited service on your phone, texting and calling and such. And that's actually a really good deal. But we do like to mention this before students get there, because if you've not traveled before, you might not know that if you don't get this done prior to arriving, you could rack up some fairly heavy charges. And we have had students who have gotten to Rome, not realize they needed an international package on their phone, and have racked up like $300 to $400 and bills. So we like to mention that. Also, at the Rome Center, if you by chance need a fax sent to you, I'm not sure why, but if you need that, they have that. They also have email. There's a lovely information commons at the center that upon arrival, you will be getting a username and password for there, and you'll be able to use their computers and such for whatever needs you might have. So you will have access to email and internet. As well, I mentioned there's an information commons, and in that commons there's Macs and PCs, and so you'll have full access to the web while you're there. So we like to actually discourage the use of laptops, or discourage students from bringing laptops to Rome, just for security reasons. It's a expensive piece of equipment, and you don't really need it at the Rome Center. You won't need it for your class. The class will not require you to bring a laptop. So I know that some people are probably going to travel prior or after your 2 weeks, and if you need your laptop, absolutely bring it. We can't tell you what to do, but we do kind of discourage you from bringing it because you don't really need it if you're just going to simply be doing the 2 weeks in Rome. Okay, so moving on. I'm going to talk a little bit about the services at the JFRC. As far as identification and security, you will be getting an ID card at the center. It will have your picture on it. And basically, this card will ensure that no one who should not be at the Rome Center will be at the Rome Center. So just a little info, when you get to the center, there's that porter's desk, and no one is getting beyond that if they do not have a JFRC ID. If you have friends or family that want to come visit you at the center, they will have to stop at the porter's desk, show an ID, they'll get a pass, and then they're only allowed in the common areas of the center. They're not allowed to go to your room. No one is allowed on room floors except for students. So you can't bring friends or visitors or anything up to the dorms. If you were to do anything like that, there is a heavy fine and penalty for that. So that is not allowed. So it's a very secure area, and we really need it to be that way. We basically need the people who are supposed to be there, and those who are not supposed to be there to not be there. So you will be getting that ID card upon arrival. As far as the residence halls are concerned, it's just like any other dorm situation. They're decent dorms. I mean, it's a dorm, maybe like a little step below it, because basically the rooms, the place was once a convent, and so they've refurbished the rooms to adapt them to some of the things that we need now. So in your rooms, you will have bunk beds. So if you have a roommate, you'll be sharing a bunk bed with them. It's basically like summer camp. So it has kind of that vibe to it, but a step above that. There's also a sink in your room. There are 2 desks. There is a mini fridge, and as well there is a ceiling fan. And unfortunately, the rooms aren't air conditioned. Every place else within the JFRC is air conditioned. They're actually working on putting air conditioning in the rooms this upcoming summer, but unfortunately our class won't have the benefit of that, and so the rooms aren't air conditioned, but you do have a ceiling fan, so that's nice. There's also showers and bathrooms on either ends of your floor. The showers are all private, and so it's basically like an average dorm. You're also going to be provided with linen service, so you'll have towels. You'll get like a big bath towel, sheets, a pillow will be provided, and a blanket. So you don't have to bring any of those things. If you like your own items like that, you're more than welcome to bring them, but you don't have to. The JFRC also has workout facilities, and they're really nice. They actually renovated their workout space, and they have equipment, and they have a little yoga space, and so it's really nice. So if you feel the need to work out, you have a place to do that as well. The area that we're going to be in is extremely residential and hilly. It's actually on the highest point of Rome, which is nice for all people who like to do some uphill running or hiking. So you have that option available to you as well. The center also has laundry facilities, so you don't have to worry about that. You can do laundry there if you like. You don't even have to bring soap. So soap is a couple bucks, and you can buy it right there at the center. With regards to meals, there is a cafe on campus called Ronaldo's. It's going to be open from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day, and students typically eat their breakfast at Ronaldo's. It's really cost effective, and it's really, really nice. And your breakfast will run you anywhere from $1 on up to $3, $4. If you like American breakfast, that's going to run you around $6. So they have all the basics for breakfast and lunch. You can even get pizza there, so it's a really nice option. As well, you have your mini fridge. So well, one thing, when you come to the Rome Center, we're actually going to show you the neighborhood, and there's a lot of grocery stores in the area. So we're going to show you where all the stores are and everything. So if you want to go to the grocery store, get some stuff, put it in your fridge for breakfast. A lot of students do that. That option will be available to you as well. When it comes to lunch and dinner, you can have it at Ronaldo's if you're going to be near campus, or you can have it at the myriad of restaurants in the city. There's so many incredible eating options in Rome. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and I have yet to have like a bad meal in Rome, which is it's just surprising. So lunch is really cost effective in Rome, especially if you can eat more of the carbs and pastas and things like that. Lunch will run you anywhere. It can run you anywhere from like $3 on up to $10, and then dinners can run you anywhere from, I say, $7 on up to $50. It just depends on what you like to eat. One option that's really great in Rome is something called an aperitivo, which is like our version of happy hour, but like happy hour times 2, and so they have you'll go to a place and they'll have like a spread of finger foods and different things, like the bruschetta and all the little finger foods, and then they'll also include a glass of wine, and they'll give that to you for like $10. And it's a really good, nice little small meal to have in the evening if you like something like that. So that's meals. Now, with regards to accessing money at the center, there is an ATM machine there that's fully operational. It's always stocked, and it comes in very, very handy. As well, you can exchange money at the business center, and the hours for the business center are in your packet here. So there's that option. One thing I do want to mention about cash and coming to the JFR, so we would like to ask you to secure at least 150 euro before you arrive to the center. And we would prefer that you do that before you actually get on your plane to come here, or to come there. Taxi drivers in Rome do not accept credit card. And so if you are coming in and you're going to take a taxi, you're going to have to pay with cash. And sometimes it's really hard to secure cash and currency or euros at the airport. Once you get in, you're trying to get to your gate, you're trying to get all your stuff taken care of before you know it, you've passed the currency area and you're already at your gate, and that was the last chance you had to get cash. I wouldn't rely getting to the airport in Rome and then trying to exchange cash at the airport either. There's just going to be a lot going on, and it's just going to just help you to have 150 euro before you even board your plane. So and then you'll use the rest of that cash as the week goes on. But a taxi in Rome to the JFRC will run you around 60 to 70 euro. So it might be a good idea if you so choose to get in contact with some of your classmates and try to coordinate when you all are arriving, so you can actually share a taxi, because it isn't charged per person, it's charged per taxi. So there's that option. I am going to be sending everybody, both of the classes, I'm going to be sending a list of all the flights that you all are taking. And that's why I had you send me your flight information. I mean, that's not the only reason. We need to know when you're coming in, but also so that you guys can coordinate and see when you all are coming in to see if you can possibly take taxis together. So I'll be doing that. You'll be getting that soon. All right. Another thing that you'll want to do prior to coming to the Rome, just coming to Italy, is you want to contact your bank regarding all of your credit cards. You want to make sure that you let them know that you're going to be doing some international travel, because if they don't know that and they see a foreign charge on it, they're probably going to stop that charge. And so it's just a form of protection. You probably already know this, but this is just to make you aware that if you haven't done international travel before, you always contact your credit card companies and let them know that you're going to be doing some international travel. So you're able to still use your cards when you get to Rome. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the services associated with your course. And just some of the things that are going to be happening once you get to Rome. Okay, so as far as check-in goes, I put this all over the stuff that I've sent you guys. You've probably seen it a million times, but when you arrive, you have them from 8 until 4 to get to the center. The center will not open up prior to 8 a.m. So unfortunately, if you get in early, you have to find something to do before you get to the center, because the center will not open to you until 8. So once you get in, you'll check in. We'll get you all set up and situated. So let me just actually go back a few steps here. When you come to the center and you have your taxi is going to drive you through our front gate down to the second gate. And there, you'll notice that the center is surrounded by a very large green metal gate. And so you're going to come up to the front door, and the door, you'll hear a pop, and we'll let you in because we can see you. There's cameras everywhere at the center. And so you'll get there, we'll let you in, you'll come in, and we will greet you very happily because we're very excited for you to come join us. We will then get you set up with your key, get you acclimated to the center, probably take you out for just a chance to go and take a look at the neighborhood and go to the grocery store. And then by 5 p.m. we will be having our first orientation in Rome. Interestingly enough, you're gonna have about a total of 3 orientations total when it's all said and done. There are various areas within the center and with us that we need to orient you on. So at 5 p.m. we'll have a short orientation to get you ready to head out into the city, and we'll also give you your bus pass. You're going to be getting a 30-day pass to take the transit and the rail in Rome. And we're going to hop on the bus, go down to Piazza Navona, which is one of the most popular piazzas in all of Rome, and have an activity there and let you loose for the evening to have dinner. And then we're going to meet up and then come back. And this is really just to get you ready for the feel of the city and how to take public transportation. As well, we're trying to keep you awake. We don't want you to fall asleep. I mean, you are more than welcome to take a nap if you want to, but one way to really combat the jet lag that we'll inevitably feel is to keep you awake and not have you take a nap and go to sleep. So we're going to try to keep you a little active while we're there. So that's day 1. Next, let's see here. I mentioned the transportation. One thing I do want to mention is that the 30-day pass that I spoke of, if you do misplace that, you'll be charged for an extra card. And that's pretty self-explanatory in here. So as far as your site visits, all of your site visits will be gotten to by public transportation. Also, the wonderful thing about that pass is that it's 30 days. So if you're going to plan to stay in Rome later than the 2 weeks, you will have a free 2 weeks of rail service. And that actually applies to like Trenitalia. It's like the regional trains of the area. So they have a couple of different regional trains where you can go to various different places throughout like the outskirts of Rome, which is really nice. Okay, so let's just move on here. Let's go down to the closing dinner. So let me mention the meal. So the meals that are going to be provided from us to you are the opening lunch. We're gonna have a box lunch for you waiting for you when you come in. So when you come in, there's gonna be a box lunch for you in your mini fridge, and I'm gonna be contacting you and asking you for any of your food sensitivities. So the box will be catered to your particular diet, and then so that we'll provide that for you. Then also another meal that we will be providing for you is the midweek aperitivo that we're going to have. It's going to be on Wednesday of your first week, and it'll just be a small gathering for folks to hang out and you to get to know, for the two classes to get to know each other, and there's that. And then also we having a closing dinner. So the Thursday of your second week, there will be a final dinner with both classes, and it'll be at this lovely restaurant within the neighborhood. And it's the one time to kind of dress up and take our class pictures and just spend some time together before the end of the program. So the following day, Friday, is the last day of your class. I believe the classes will be ending at noon, and after that, you're free to do whatever. The program ends at that time. However, if you are choosing to stay at the Rome Center for that evening until the next morning, you are still beholden to the community standards that are held by the Rome Center. And when we get to Rome, I'll be giving you a booklet that you'll have to read through and sign regarding the community standards. And they are pretty strict standards. They are very big on safety, and you still have to abide by those while in Rome during that time. All right, so at the bottom of this page, there's just a little reminder about leaving Rome. You want to really make sure that you give yourself 3 hours of travel time from the minute you leave the Rome Center to the airport. I have seen students not give themselves enough time, and they have literally missed their flight because things change at the airport. Sometimes the gate is in one place, sometimes it's in another, and having to ask for that in a language that you don't know can be somewhat confusing for those of you who have not done much international travel. So just be sure you give yourself enough time so that you can get to the airport and get situated and settled for your flight. All right, so as far as getting to the JFRC, I have a whole section in the packet about that. You can just read through that. I don't really have to go through that with you here. One thing I do want to mention about it is when you go through immigration, do not stop at customs unless they make you stop at customs. Sometimes they might mistake you for an Italian citizen, and then they'll ask you to go through customs. You just show them your ID, and they will put you back in the correct line. We do want you to be aware that if you don't get your passport stamped at immigration, just keep that in mind because we'll have to get some extra paperwork for you during one of your orientations while at the center. So just keep that in mind. So just let us know, if your passport was stamped or not during the orientation, and we'll get you set up with that other paperwork. Okay, so as far as getting to the JFRC, I keep mentioning taxi. We really, really, really request that you guys use a taxi to get to the center. There are other options like taking the train and taking some other types of car services, especially if this is your first time going to the JFRC or to Italy or just being in Rome. We really, really recommend that when you when you land, to just go into the taxi line and get a taxi. And we have some reasons for that. One, it's just easy. Two, you don't have to think about it. Three, you're on a time schedule, and four, we just want you to be safe. So I'm gonna go through a little bit about the taxi situation in Rome. So when you come out of the airport in Rome, you go right and there's a taxi stand. In Rome, they have taxi stands. You can't hail a taxi in Rome. 1 second. You can't hail a taxi in Rome. They don't do things like that. They have taxi stands, or they also have something called My Taxi, which is an app. And then they also have Uber and stuff like that. We're going to ask you to not do that your first night. That we really just want you to be safe. So just go to the right, go to the taxi stand, and you will notice that all the taxis in the taxi stand, let's see if I can show this, they all have this shield right here on the taxi. So you can recognize that this is a legitimate Roman taxi. While you're in the line, you'll probably get people approaching you to come and take a taxi. I got a taxi. Come here, you can ride in my taxi. Those aren't legit taxi drivers. So we're going to ask you to just stay in that line, wait for your next taxi, take your taxi, and come to the Rome Center. When you're in Rome and you're a little bit more acclimated, My Taxi, Uber, stuff like that, and you feel comfortable with it, go for it. But if you don't know the language and you're not as comfortable with it, just always find a taxi. There's taxi stands everywhere within Rome. And you can also do My Taxi. And you can, in My Taxi, they will have a crest on their taxi as well. So that's just a little thing about the taxi drive. Okay, so let's see. So as far as when you get to the Rome Center, like I said, the taxi will drive you through the gate. You'll come to the front gate. If you have any issues with the taxi rate or fare or anything like that, just let us know. Just wave at the door, and we'll see you, and we'll come out and help negotiate what's going on with the taxi ride. Because the taxi ride should be $60 to $70. So if they try to charge something outside of that, just let us know, and we'll come out and we'll come help you negotiate that. All right, moving on. So like I said, you won't be able to arrive at the Rome Center earlier than 8 a.m. If you need some options for places to stay in Rome, we have vetted several places that we have found really nice, and they know us, and you will have a good stay when you're there. If you look at this page right here, we have them listed right here. So that's an option for you. All right, so as far as packing suggestions and recommendations, again, this might seem like common sense, but I just want to walk through these so that you have an even clearer idea of what you might need when in Rome. So as far as things for your room, obviously, if you use any sort of electrical appliance, you will need an adapter, especially for a hair dryer, curling iron, things like that. As well, so in Rome, one thing that they don't have there, one thing that they don't use is washcloths. They use other things to wash their face and such, and they don't have washcloths. So your linen service at the center will not include a washcloth. So if you want a washcloth, you'll have to bring one from home. They only provide bath towels. All right, so also another thing that I want to mention is there are no places to cook at the Rome Center. As well, they don't provide us with silverware, cups, plates, bowls, things like that. So if you have breakfast that you want to have in the morning, bring some plasticware with you. Or when you get to Rome, you can buy some plasticware at the grocery store, but just know that is not provided at the center. So as far as packing clothes, it's going to typically be pretty warm, especially the time for the grad program. You guys are going to be there in July, which is one of the hottest times there. It is really hot. And so you want to wear clothing that is breathable and light. With regards to cultural norms for dressing in Rome, and I'm just expressing these are just the cultural norms in Rome. You are more than welcome to wear whatever it is that you feel comfortable in and that you want to wear. Some of the cultural norms of Rome are for those who want to like shorts. Shorts just aren't common in Rome. They aren't common for anybody in Rome, so they don't typically wear them unless they're at the beach. So a lot of people ask questions about wearing shorts. Look, if you want to wear shorts, you are more than welcome to wear shorts. You just probably won't see any Romans wearing shorts. And the reason why I bring that up is because there is a large pickpocketing situation in Rome, and we'll be going over that a lot in the orientation on the campus in Italy. But one thing you might want to try to do is to try to blend in a little bit to the Italian or the Roman culture, and that is solely to make it so that you don't appear so incredibly American and a target for pickpocketing. One thing that we ask you not to wear are shirts with American logos and such on it, because you are just a prime target for pickpocketing. Yeah, so as far as one of the norms, it's not wearing shorts. Let's see. Also, jeans probably aren't the best bet. It's going to be extremely hot, and you won't typically see people wearing jeans except for American tourists, and so that's another thing. Now, with regards to dress in, I guess, sacred spaces such as the churches in St. Peter's, there is a dress code, and you are not able to have bare shoulders. So if you have bare shoulders, you will have to wear a scarf over your shoulders. And typically at places, like big places, they'll have scarves that you can borrow to do that, but I usually just carry a scarf in my bag to put over my shoulders. As well, you want to make sure that if you're wearing a skirt, that it is below your knee if you're going to any of those sites that day. Otherwise, you'll just have to wear a skirt around your legs. So that is that. As far as shoes go, this is so important. This is something that I don't think people really think about a ton, you know, but you guys are going to be doing lots of walking. I'd say anywhere from 3 to 5 miles of walking a day. And walking in Chicago or elsewhere is simple. You know, you're walking on the streets, it's flat. In Rome, most of the streets are cobblestone. I mean, that's the typical sidewalk and street in Rome. And it's obviously not level. And so if you wear a soft-soled shoe, you're going to feel every bit of that impact on that. And you are going to be so incredibly sore and tired at the end of the day that I've seen people with their feet have basically swollen. Like everybody at the end of their time in Rome typically has a little bit of swelling to their feet. So you want to be really aware of the footwear that you have there. You want to make sure that it is somewhat hard at the bottom. Not super hard, but durable. So like a good tennis shoe has a nice durable bottom. Like a Birkenstock even has a nice durable bottom. Like any sandal with a nice durable bottom. Like anything that you would get at the walking store is probably a good bet as far as a shoe is concerned. We do ask that you please do not wear flip-flops. Flip-flops are pretty dangerous in Rome. Also because the streets are cobblestone or old ancient Roman roads, and they're made with stone. And so over time, with wear, things that are stone tend to get really slick and shiny. And so it's going to rain at some point there. And when it rains there, the streets are very slick. And so it just doesn't bode well for flip-flops. We really discourage you from wearing flip-flops there because it's just not safe. All right. Let's move on from there. So some other things that you'll want to bring with you it's going to rain. So if you want to bring a rain poncho, please do. Also bring an umbrella because, like I said, it definitely will rain. On the plane over, this is just a little mention that international flights are typically extremely cold, and you'll probably want to bring a hoodie or something nice and warm because the blankets that to give you on the plane don't really work too well. And we want you to be comfortable and to get some sleep. So that when you get to Rome, you can hit the ground running. So that might be of use to you. Of course, a light shawl or a scarf to cover the shoulders. Let's see, I think that's about it when it comes to clothing. All right, so one thing that is extremely, extremely important because of the pickpocketing situation in Rome is to really be aware of what type of bag you have. We're going to ask that you do not bring backpacks. And if you did bring a backpack, you'd have to wear it on the front of you because if you have it on the back of you, someone could open it up and go in. And backpacks are typically one of the main ways that pickpockets get students' stuff is because they've decided to wear a backpack and you're just not aware of it at all times. So we're going to ask that you refrain from using backpacks. As well, if you're going to use a purse or any type of shoulder bag, be sure that it's a crossbody bag and that all the pockets zip because you need to have the pockets that zip so that you can, basically detract from getting pickpocketed. So it's like a really big deal. So we always wear our bags over to the side with our hand over it, especially on public transportation and tight spaces, because you will it's very common to get pickpocketed in those areas. Now, I know I've mentioned a lot about pickpocketing. The thing about it is it does happen a lot in Rome. Your physical body is completely safe in Rome. You don't have to worry about much of anything. It is an incredibly safe place to be. You can walk out at night. There's a very big night culture in Rome. It's awesome. You can walk through the residential area without harm. It's great. The one thing that isn't safe is your wallet. But we will do our best to completely prepare you for all the situations that might arise from people who might choose to pickpocket you. The orientation that you're going to have when you get to Rome is going to go over that extensively. So we will make sure that you are very safe and prepared to go out in the city and handle that. All right, so next. Another mention of the pickpocketing thing, let me get back to that. I just want to also stress the need for you guys to be very aware of what you're doing at all times. I know here, like when you walk on a bus, even when you see people or get on a bus and or when you're walking down the street, you'll see people on their phones, like constantly. And I'm just very not aware of their surroundings. You're not going to be able to do that in Rome. In Rome, the streets are unlevel, you're walking on cobblestones, you have to be aware of people trying to pickpocket you. The phone, being on the phone, it just doesn't work there. So we're going to ask that you just be very aware of your surroundings, be aware of your classmates, look out for each other, you know, just be aware of where you are and put that phone in the pocket and just enjoy, you know, your time in the city with your classmates. All right. So as far as some final preparations that you'll need to do, make copies of your passport and put a copy in your carry-on luggage and in your regular luggage, as well. Make a copy of your insurance card and your credit cards. When you get to the center, you're going to put all of those things in your drawer and lock it. And then you will take the copies with you if you need to out in the city. So when you're out in the city, you always need to have a copy of your insurance card and a copy of your passport. So that is that. And I think that's about good for this information. So I'm going to end this here. And then what you'll be getting is information from either of your instructors regarding the next steps of orienting you. So we are so excited to see you in a couple of weeks, and we hope that you feel good and ready to go to Rome. If you have any questions, just email me and I will be sure to get back to you. No question is too big or too small. Just let me know, and I'll answer that for you. So take care, and we will see you soon.